For about 2 months now, I've worn this shirt, and this shirt is basically just a black shirt. It's also a special color, and this is, I mean, there are two different kinds of color, the normal color and this one, which is slightly shortened. This one, I think, works a little bit better for people, especially people with a beard like me, because the other one would cut into the beard, and if you cut into the beard, then there is no real distinction between those, and then the incentive, or the resulting incentive, is just to cut off this beard. But I don't want to cut off this beard, so I got this shirt. In addition to this shirt being black, it is also a muscle fit, which means it's a little bit tighter, but I got it therefore a size up. And I got this idea of the black shirt from Andrew Huberman. Maybe I also thought about this idea previously, before Andrew Huberman, but I don't exactly know about this. Previously, I had a white shirt and black pants, but I now just decided to go all black with all the things I can buy in black. And so far, it has been one decision that has simplified my life quite a bit, because I just got 2 of these shirts. This is for now just an experiment. I did not decide to buy 10 or 5 of these shirts. So for now, I have 2 of these shirts and 2 of the pants I wear. So basically the exact model. Ideally also these shirts would be available over time, but because of this special color, maybe they are not available over time. What I want to offer now is a few observations I made over these last weeks in which I did these experiments. So basically about 8 weeks ago, I bought these 2 shirts. I actually got this exact same shirt, not the identical shirt, but the same shirt a few months back already, maybe even a year ago already, a year before I then got these shirts. And I tried it on, and it just did not seem to fit me very well. There was just something that it did make the shirt not look very good, or I didn't know exactly, because I kind of looked like a priest, and maybe I did not want this look. But now I think it's fine, especially since I also now have had the comparison compared to this other shirt. And with this other shirt that goes up the neck, it just covers too much. And it also is a little bit too not casual. I think this shirt especially covers, or not covers, but is basically in between being basically nice enough to cover all these situations in which you have to wear a shirt, but it is still casual enough for me to not come off as over-trying in all of these situations where you usually just don't wear a shirt, but you just then nevertheless wear this shirt because it's the thing you wear every single day. So now, what also comes to mind, so this is about the aspect of having this normal color or having this other color. Now also, it is not very visible that it has actually these buttons. Only if you look closer, only if actually there is light onto it, then you can see that it is actually a button shirt. Sometimes from the side especially, it just might look like a normal t-shirt actually, but it does not. And if you look closer, therefore it is basically an upgrade, whereas if you look closer compared to a t-shirt that would not look that great, it would kind of be a downgrade. So it looks like a t-shirt, but then if you look closer, it looks a little bit better. So in terms of expectation and basically reality, it basically is like first not so good and then maybe a little bit better, which might be the better way of structuring these 2 different points in time at which you realize or not realize something. Now, I also want to talk about the color black. The color black compared to the color white, when it comes to a shirt, has one big advantage. And this one big advantage is that things that are covering your shirt with dirt over time, such as your hands and also your mouth and also maybe your nose, are basically doing this all the time. And if they are doing this all the time, then a black shirt, now the question is, how or which color do the particles that eventually land on your shirt have? And the answer to this is maybe in the middle. But apart from things like powder or things like white paint or things like that are basically white, I think that generally the black thing is the thing that is basically more applicable, and not more applicable, but has has an advantage in very many situations of things covering your shirt up. Also, if you get a stain on it, let's say I put tomato sauce on it, the white shirt would be ruined. If I didn't get the tomato sauce off in like a few minutes to hours and get it permanently out, I would have to either dye the shirt again or basically, dye it I think is not the proper word. It's to to brighten the shirt up. I don't know what the correct word right now is. Bleach. I would have to bleach the shirt. Whereas with this shirt, of course, because black is not something that occurs naturally, and if you wash the shirt again and again, it becomes less and less black. So this is maybe a disadvantage of this. But what I found is that I think because it reflects less light, so a white shirt basically reflects all the different parts of the spectrum of light, whereas a black shirt basically just absorbs light. And because of this, there is also not that much light that is emitted from the black shirt, similar to a black hole that also doesn't not emit that much light, compared to a sun, for example, that emits a lot of light and therefore also appears white, at least usually to us. Now, what I'm trying to say with this is that the black shirt does not give off that much light. This means if you take a look at somebody who has a black shirt on, then you cannot make out the silhouette apart from the edges of the shirt with the environment that well. So this means that if you have something on your body or you just don't want to show off your body apart from maybe wearing a muscle-fit shirt because it's the only option available, and it also has kind of a cut that seems to appeal to the body shape you have, at least in my case, it I think just has a certain look to it. If you have a slightly tighter shirt, what this also means is that you have to go through the bottleneck of posture every single day, again and again and again. Every time you see yourself in a reflection, you go through this bottleneck of, okay, your posture is visible. If I go to the side here and I have a posture like this, then I know I have a posture like this because I can see it. But if I now wear baggier and baggier clothes, or make this shirt basically wider and wider and wider, then I see it less and less, and so therefore the feedback loop seems to be disrupted more. The baggier the shirt is, and basically also, is. What I'm also wearing underneath the shirt is a posture correction. And because it is black, and on a white shirt, for example, it would be visible because the posture correction also has these black straps that pull my shoulders back and ideally over time result in me having a better posture. But it seems as soon as I take the posture correction off that I revert to a posture correction with my shoulders bent forward. But as long as I wear this, I'm constantly reminded, and maybe over time it also improves my posture. There seems to be a slightly degrading effect over time after you take it off, because I tried this already. I kind of had to try it already because I got rid of the old posture correction, or it just broke. Let's say it as it is, it just broke. And then I didn't know if I want to buy like a few posture corrections in a given year. So I just tried without it. Maybe my posture had improved so much, but it seems to be the case that I need this notch all the time, again and again and again, in order to uphold the high standard of posture. And in addition, this shirt now kind of makes me go through this bottleneck of having a kind of decent posture in order to make this shirt look good, because the shirt doesn't look good because it doesn't have shoulder paddings or something like this, apart from these slight shoulder paddings I get basically from these straps that go through the shirt or underneath the shirt. So in terms of getting things onto the shirt, there is an additional benefit. And this additional benefit is, one, the shirt, it's not that I don't have to iron the shirt. You see that the shirt wrinkles eventually. And you see also kind of the long-term wrinkles on the shirt. I don't iron this shirt, but because it was also black, so if I had the same shirt in white, then you probably would see these wrinkles more. But because I have the black version, you don't see these wrinkles so much. Now, the next point I actually want to make is the following. If you have to wash this shirt, then also if you have stains on this shirt, then they are just less visible over time. So if you compare a white shirt and a black shirt, then over time, this is the shirt you can still wear even if it has like 10 different stains on it, because you just don't see them because black covers them up, because black is more black than the tomato sauce is not white. And for this reason, I think this is also a shirt that you can wear maybe for 2 weeks if you are going for a travel, for example, and you don't have to worry that much about having the shirt stained after the second night out, for example. Now, in terms of wearing this shirt every single day, of course there is the complication that you either have to have multiple shirts, or you have to have the same shirt and then you wash the same shirt again and again. So what I have now been doing over the last weeks is I noticed that I cannot wear the same shirt for a whole week without actually getting things onto there. Now, if I'm in the kitchen and I'm actually cooking, so if I'm cooking at home for myself usually, then what happens is that I sometimes get stains on it. But what I now can do is with a washcloth, for example, just wipe the thing off. You just take a little bit of soap and you wipe the thing off, and then as soon as you do this, basically it's a little bit better. What you can also do is, because this shirt specifically is made of a material that is, I think, to a certain part cotton and to a certain part some stretchy material. So this is actually a stretch shirt, which also means that I cannot tear this shirt up that much, and it also just stretches a little bit. So I don't know if this is very good or very bad, but it seems to have slight advantages, such as if I really forget my gym clothes, then I could potentially wear this to the gym, then work out, and then afterwards actually get this in the sink, for example, or wash it in the shower, and then I could dry it off with the dryer at the gym. Not the dryer, but the hair dryer at the gym, and I could wear this again. And because it's also black, it is also less visible whether this is removing stains or washing the shirt entirely if it is actually wet. So a white shirt would be going transparent, but a black shirt is just a little bit more black with more water usually, so you don't see it as well. So I often go in, if I just ate and I have like a small stain on there, I often go into in a public bathroom, for example, take a little bit of soap and then just wash this off and then just go out. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't have to be as conscious about having stains on my shirt, because I just can get rid of them very easily. So in terms of this, it was also very practical, I think, in just real life situations. And also because it is so easily washable, and also because it is kind of thin actually, I don't know if I actually will wear this through summer, but maybe I could wear this through summer more compared to a shirt that is a little bit thicker. So also the material of this shirt in specificular, but in particular, is beneficial to basically the cause I'm trying to use it for. Now, what I also have been doing with this shirt in particular is I have been using it in winter as basically the shirt I wear for outside. So what I'm often doing is that I'm only going from one place to another place by bicycle. And so as I increased cold exposure over the last years, I just basically said, okay, what if I just don't wear a jacket on the bike ride? So over the last years, for example, I still in winter wore a rain jacket over my normal shirt. But now, because I wanted to try this, I now often wore, even if it had like -7 degrees, but this is on the extreme side, then for the 10 minutes I was outside, I just wore this shirt. And because the shirt seems to be slightly windproof and basically airproof, I can actually do this much better compared to other shirts that are thicker but seem to allow more air to go in, because this shirt is also a little bit slighter or a little bit tighter cut, and there is not that much air that goes into the shirt. And then there is one last thing that is mostly about wearing a shirt, not this particular shirt, and this is temperature control. So you are basically a thing that has a certain temperature, and this temperature needs to be regulated, but it is also influenced by your stress, by what you ate, by the different macronutrient ratios of what you ate. At least in my case, that seems to be the case, or seems to be observational evidence that depending on what I eat, my body heat increases and also decreases. And also I can measure this now with a watch like Garmin, which at least has an internal temperature sensor, which does not specifically measure skin temperature. At least I think so. Maybe it also is skin temperature in the newer watches, but the older watches, it usually was said that it is only the device's temperature. But what is now kind of possible with a shirt like this is that you have different temperature options. Compare this to a long sleeve shirt. A long sleeve shirt, if you basically get these things here up to the elbows, I don't know what the proper wording for this is, or the proper phrase is, what happens is that it basically expands. And it expands because it is a kind of elastic material, but over time it is not that elastic anymore. So it basically goes, it expands, the circumference basically becomes larger. And what then becomes the reality is that you can wear a normal long sleeve shirt either like this all the time and not have the option of temperature control, or you also temperature control, but then because here the thickness increases, this over time means that you then have these flappy things on your wrists, which are basically the shirt that was extended or expanded by basically your elbow or also your forearm, which is not that beneficial, and it also doesn't look that nice. Compare this with a shirt. You can unbutton this and then you can do it like this, and then you have kind of a different setting, which is also more advantageous to doing things kind of hands-on, because then you don't have a shirt in here. So for example, if you need to do dishes or something like this, or you need to move furniture, or you need to help someone moving furniture, or I don't know what it is. This means you have a little bit more skin exposed to the environment, which means you are probably a little bit cooler, and also maybe your body then cool your body better if you actually are sweating. So this is just an additional option. You can also use this and basically just unbutton the shirt a little bit to also increase not body circulation, but the air circulation throughout your skin, or throughout the skin that is exposed then more to the environment. And that's mostly now about the shirt itself. Of course, you can also totally open up the shirt and wear something different underneath, which would also be a possibility. So this is also something you cannot do with another shirt. You basically can use it kind of as a jacket. And it also kind of looks more as a jacket compared to a long sleeve shirt. That would be the other option that I actually also have. Now, I want to talk about one other point. And this point is how I additionally can temperature control within kind of the black wardrobe. And this black wardrobe now is kind of with me actually at this point in time. I do have a short sleeve shirt that is in my rucksack. So as it is winter, the three items I basically have in addition to this shirt here, as I go out, for example, is I have one long sleeve shirt, which would actually be the point of comparison I compared this shirt usually to. This is also from H&M, as well as this shirt is also from H&M. Now, this long sleeve shirt is also very nice. It is also in L, and it is a slim fit, whereas this is a muscle fit. And then I have another shirt. I did actually try the short sleeve slim fit from H&M, but this just didn't look right. I don't know, the cut was just not right. Nonetheless, I have kind of another brand, just a very cheap t-shirt that cost like €2, and I bought 5 of them a couple of months ago, so I still have these. So the different possibilities, or the different options now for increasing basically the insulation of your body to the external environment would be: 1, keep the shirt as the underlayer all the time. I think this is the most practical, also because this shirt is, I think, on the tighter side. So as it is on the tighter side, it means that it is probably more advantageous to take the other shirts and then to pull them, to basically put them on top. It also is slightly more complicated with me wearing this posture correction, because this posture correction on the back basically connects to my pants, because there needs to be something that holds the shoulders back but also holds the posture correction down. Otherwise it goes basically up and up and up and up and again, up and up again, and then the belt does is basically downwards. That would be from the posture correction, which otherwise holds the posture correction and your shoulders down, would then go up and up. And this is something I experienced with these old posture corrections, or with the same posture correction, but I now have it basically in the layer of basically the belt things that are on your pants, and I have it just in there, and then the belt straps everything together, the normal belt of my pants. Now, because of this, it is also a little bit more of a thing to just. Of course, there is also this side effect of the buttons. So if you have a button shirt, then you need to button the shirt, and you need to unbutton the shirt, and you need to button the shirt, and then if you roll up the sleeves. That's actually the proper phrase my subconscious now delivered. You need to do this all the time, and maybe this is also something that is maybe stylish, but I think it's mostly kind of annoying that you have to do this all the time. But nonetheless, it seems to be superior compared to a long sleeve shirt with all the other options a shirt like this provides me with. So the two options would be either wearing these two layers on top in any combination. Probably the best combination is, so you could also do something like these short sleeve shirt here, and then a different color. So this would also give you an option, but since it all is black, it also kind of looks the same. So it doesn't really matter that much. Of course, this is kind of a shirt look. This is a button shirt, and if I put on a long sleeve, then it looks less sleek, I would say, even though the word, I don't know exactly what it means, but this is something that comes to mind. And if I put the shirt underneath, this actually would be kind of the better option. But if I then want to remove the shirt, so if I'm out and about and I'm biking, for example, and if I want to remove the shirt and I want to have this underneath, then of course it makes no sense to then have this other one underneath. So it would, I think, make sense in most cases that I just keep this shirt, and this is also what I did in the last weeks and months. I keep this shirt as the base layer, and everything else goes on top. and then I can just remove the additional layers if the temperature of my body again normalizes or I'm again in a stabilized temperature environment. And that's kind of the summary of wearing this shirt day in and day out. In terms of washing, so I try to do one weekly washing cycle, and I do have two versions of the shirt. So basically two things. One is in my rucksack that is not, so one is in my travel bag and the other one is the one I'm wearing. And so that's my basic standard wardrobe. If it becomes too dirty or too sweaty, then I just, in the evening, when I go to bed, wash both items, both my pants and this here, and then I just hand wash it, and then I hang it up. And because this shirt is so, I don't know what exactly the material is, but it seems to dry in the few hours I sleep. This also worked with sleeping 6 hours, so I tested this and it seems to be dry in the morning usually if I rinse it out and then I don't iron it, so I just hang it up and then it seems to be dry in the morning. I don't know exactly if it, so with the pants it's a little bit more difficult because the pants are a little bit of a thicker material, so often they are still slightly wet in the morning, but well, I then just have to take it if I only have this one pair of pants, or I exchange it with the other one, or I still have lots of other clothes. But it's kind of a conscious decision to simplify basically my life, to have, it's not necessarily that I want to do this for all of time, or I decide this and now I have to do this forever. But I think it makes very much sense to try to reduce the number of daily decisions one has to make, and therefore have a good default. A default that is just not that bad. A default that is just maybe not that superior either, but a default that is just a default. And you can, if you don't make any active choice, you just revert to the default and then you don't have to think about it. So if I don't think about it, I just wear the shirt and the pants I wear. And if I do really want to think about it, and let's say, okay, I'm going out, or let's say yesterday, or actually, yeah, it was yesterday, I was like kind of fatigued of wearing the same shirt again and again and again, so I just wore a different shirt. And I still have different shirts, and I just wore a jeans shirt, and that was that. But then I recorded videos yesterday in the same setup actually, and then I was like, yeah, the black shirt looks kind of better, and also kind of more standardized for the different kinds of videos. I want to mention another point, and this is that I now am that my clothes don't say that much. And the less my clothes say, similar to the less you say in a given environment, the less you can do wrong. So because this is such a standard thing, many people wear black, and especially a shirt, and with the shirt you cannot really be dressed wrongly because you're kind of dressed for almost every occasion. If I show up, if I show up 2 hours late for a wedding and I have to run into the wedding, and then I can just wear the shirt and these pants, because I can even run in this shirt and in this pants, and I probably even work out, even though I only tried working out or doing slight kickboxing with a previous version of the pants, but not specifically the shirt. The thing I'm trying to say is that by simplifying my life, or by simplifying something like this, I simplify my life in general. And I always, for example, now these days have the same rucksack. The rucksack is always packed. So it could be that I wake up and there is a fire in my house, and I just have my rucksack packed from the night before. And I also have the shirt and this ready. This is hanging next to my rucksack. I also have my watches on all the time. I also have a phone here with basically a SIM card. So this watch is a phone actually. So it's a smartwatch where you can also call people and also access the internet, and also maybe pay, because this actually has pay independently of your phone, whereas this one does not have LTE, so it does not have this functionality. So this means if there is a fire in the house and I need to just grab something, then I grab my backpack, and in my backpack is my notebook, which is the main thing I'm using. And in my backpack ideally is also my phone already charged, but with charging it is currently not working that well. The idea is that basically there's a good default, and if I have to, I don't know, flee to another country, which could happen at some point in time, if I have to pack all my things, or at least the things I need to pack, and it's the middle of the night and there's a fire, then chances are I will not be in the best kind of mind to now make 4 hours of decisions of what has the highest priority, what I do want to keep, what I do not want to keep, or what can go within the rucksack I am wearing, what cannot go into it. into it basically. So I have this rucksack packed all the time, and similar, this is now kind of the default, and it seems to work kind of with the setup I have with these 2 additional shirts and cover most of the situations I am in, at least at this point in time. Maybe if I go on a backcountry skiing tour, then it's slightly different. But I could, in theory, also wear the shirt. I even thought about wearing the shirt to a tour like this, but I eventually didn't, and also the tour kind of was cancelled by a friend of mine. So that's kind of the situation of wearing, or that's kind of the results and observations I made wearing this shirt that I decided over years. So this was not a process that I mentally was able to do very easily. It was a process of standardization that began a few years back, maybe 10 years back, or maybe even longer than this. I already began standardizing different stacks of my wardrobe that were kind of similar, and then I would randomize, okay, this stack has this many items and this stack has this many items. So therefore, if I pick basically the top thing, then I have a kind of a randomized outfit. And then I already got black pants and also black shoes, and then I also did a few other things. But what I'm trying to say is that mostly it has been kind of a benefit, and I don't look back on having made this decision. And even if, then I just bought 2 additional shirts and actually only 1 additional pair of pants for this standard look.